I'd like to talk to everybody about my favorite movie series and the continuations of that movie series. That would be the Aliens, as in Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Basically including Aliens vs. Predator, although I do and I don't consider them part of the main series. And a big part of that is because I kind of felt like in both Alien vs. Predators, for the most part, the aliens were kind of made into pussies. They did a better job in the second one because you had the big Pred alien, but they established pretty clearly in the comic books, which, you know, nothing's really canon, because that's my big thing, is anything can be acceptable in the movies. It's like its own thing, you know? Like, I like the idea of the Pred alien taking down the whole ship, because it was kind of like Alien, but with, like, you know, if the ship full of humans is taken down by one human alien, it makes sense that a ship full of predators is taken down by one Pred alien. And so, they did a pretty good job of making it seem like a big badass monster, but I was hoping they were going to do what they did from one of the earlier... I don't think it was actually one of the earlier AVP comics, but it was one of the ones that it was a really short one where Marines land down on Ryushi, which is a planet that was seeded by aliens, and there was a alien-predator fight on the planet. Because in the comics, instead of just filling a fucking pyramid with fucking aliens, they would cover whole planets. And that's my main problem. Another big problem I have with the Alien vs. Predator series is that they had a lot better stories they could have gone with. And I felt that, especially with the first one, the previews were kind of deceptive. Kind of like they were showing us this huge, epic, planet-wide battle, but really it was just that clip of the aliens swarming over the pyramid, and it's like, oh, that was a flashback thousands of years ago. It's like, yeah, awesome. That's kind of, you know, they had a lot of really cool ideas. I've actually learned to appreciate the first Alien vs. Predator more over the years, because first I loved it. You know, before I get into the Alien vs. Predator, I want to start at the beginning with Alien, and then I'll work my way into the side series and all that, and I'll get into my individual problems with Alien vs. Predator, because I think I'm only going to really be able to cover Alien and Alien vs. Predator, and I'll probably have to cover Prometheus in another video, because I tend to ramble, as you've noticed. But anyways, Alien, probably, from what I understand, this is mostly me trying to get every piece of information about these movies just out of fan interest over the years. So go ahead and question me on, you know, any of the shit, because I consider myself not an expert of the series, but pretty damn close as a fan expert can be, kind of thing. Basically, Alien and probably a lot of other science fiction movies from 20th Century Fox wouldn't have happened at that time if it wasn't for Star Wars. So, any problems anybody can have with the Star Wars series or whatever, Star Wars is basically responsible for Alien, because 20th Century Fox was buying up a whole bunch of sci-fi scripts after Star Wars was a huge hit. And so, yeah, we want more of that. And so, Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon were working... they were already working together on Total Recall, I believe, or it was that they were already working together on Total Recall, or that the idea was, you help me finish Total Recall, and I'll help you finish Alien. And that's basically what they did, is they help each other finish both of each other's films. And actually the concept of Alien was actually leftover material from a project they didn't really have an ending for, where it was, I believe, a World War I? So I want to think when Zeppelins were... maybe it was World War II. Yeah, it might have been World War II. But anyways, the idea was that the first Alien, they're barricading the creature back And you kind of got to know about the original story to really see that in it, because they are trying to barricade the creature back in the ship, but it's really not a plot point that anybody really remembers, because it's kind of the plan that fails. So it's like, oh yeah, that's right, they did try to do that. But anyways, the story, this World War II story that they had thought up, was about gremlins in a zeppelin. And you can learn all this shit on the extra features on the Alien quadrilogy. I believe this would be on there. I'm not sure if some of this information wouldn't be on there, but I found it in all the different Alien box sets, like special features, things like that, like the interviews. And so the original story that they had, it wasn't going to be about gremlins or anything, but they had this story kind of half plotted out about them trying to barricade gremlins in the back end of the ship, kind of thing. You know, stopping them from progressing forward. And that was kind of the part that had, as far as I can tell, that was really the only thing that survived from the original story. And other than that, they didn't have a lot of concept. Like, they knew they wanted an alien creature, and they didn't want it to be shitty. They didn't want it to be a crappy one. And that's where Giger, and this is will be a debate among a lot of people, is the pronunciation of Giger's name. I'm pretty sure it is Giger, again, based on the special features. That's how most of the people who've actually worked with him pronounce his name. You'll find that on other movies, like Species movies, because he also designed the monster for Species, the second and third movies, they will mention Giger, but I think a lot of the guys refer to him as Giger. I'm not sure if that's an example of someone who pronounces it that way, but you will find example of, I think, let me think, video game reviewer. I'm not sure if the Angry Video Game Nerd mentioned it in, what do you call it? That game, Street Fighter 2010 or whatever. I can't remember who, someone was reviewing that Street Fighter game and said it was very Giger-esque. And obviously, you know, anyone who's a fan knows that's his name. And I'm not even 100% sure that's wrong. That may actually be the correct pronunciation. Sadly to say, I have the guy's fucking name tattooed on my shoulder, no bullshit. And I don't know 100% how it's pronounced. But I'm pretty damn sure it's Giger. I started off pronouncing it Geiger, but after seeing a whole bunch of people who work with them pronounce it Giger, I'm pretty sure it's Giger. But wow, that was trailing off a bunch of fucking bullshit. Oh yeah, also, Linkara, was it Linkara? Yeah, Linkara and, it was Linkara in their crossover review of the Pokemon movie. He mentioned that the Mewtwo stuff was very Geiger-esque. That was a definite example of somebody pronouncing it as Geiger. That was kind of my point there, but I appreciate it, because I wasn't really sure until people had, like, mentioned his name every once in a while, that anyone really knew the guy existed, you know? Like, I hate to say that, because he is my favorite artist, but I just wasn't sure if everybody else knew that he existed. It's good to know that people know about him, and, you know, he did die just last year on the 31st, not on the 35th anniversary, well, for all I know he did, because the exact release date does actually elude me. I'm not sure if I've ever known that. But the 35th anniversary of the first Alien was last year, 2014, also the year Hans Giger, or Geiger, passed away. And anyways, back to my whole fumble around about the first Alien. They got Giger because they liked his designs, his drawings. I believe the Alien is actually a combination of his previous artwork. Not straight up, like just, oh, it's these two straight up combined, but basically it is, but inspired more by the shape of it, is Necronomicon 4 and 5, I believe. I might be wrong about that. I'm almost positive Necronomicon 4 was one of them. And it was the name of these figures that he had done. And one was an alien-shaped figure, like the long head, the ribbed, because he does a lot of that biomechanical, skeletal. It's very hard to describe. You'd have to look at it to really understand it. The Alien is an example of it. That's why it's so famous, you know, like he designs things totally different, and so many things have ripped off it too. Like over the years, it's so influential in culture. It's ridiculous. But I get back to where I was going is they loved his alien design. Well, the design of those pictures, and they centered on the one that had the big pipes on the back, and they centered on the other that had no eyes. And that was the basic idea. They still didn't have. I'm not sure if they had figured out the concept of the alien, but the basic idea was it was based on wasps, and it was basically a wasp that one of those wasps that buries eggs underneath the skin, and like the maggot bursts underneath. That was the main inspiration. I believe it was a wasp. It might be kind of fly, but the maggot bursts out from underneath the skin. Is the idea? Is that was the inspiration of the biological mechanism of the alien. I've ran out of video here, so I'm gonna pick this up in the next video. I've kind of rambled on, but that's what I figured these were gonna be. Alright, talk to you in the next video.